So in this section of the video, we will be talking about cell differentiation, cancer, and apoptosis. So let's talk about cell differentiation. What is cell differentiation? First of all, it is a special type of or a characteristic of a cell division and growth. So what really happens in a cell differentiation, that if one cell is differentiating, it will ask all other cell to differentiate, and there will be chemical, physical, and functional changes. Not always chemical, but physical and functional changes are always present. Here there was one experiment, embryological experiment, which showed that one of the foci is present, and around the cells, around the foci, there are cells present which will lead to the differentiation. So cell differentiation is, it leads to the formation of different parts of the body. So here, first we have primordial chorda mesoderm. These primordial mesoderm are called the primary organizers because it creates a foci, and around these there will be the cells present. And this will differentiate into mesodermal axis. And here segmentally present are somites. These somites, after the induction phase, it will lead to the formation of other cells, or the cell differentiation will take place. So for example, we have, there is a developing eye vesicles that comes in contact with the ectoderm of the head. So the ectoderm here will get thickened, and there will be the formation of plate, and these form the lens of the eye. And now there is one more foci, that is the lens of eye, will now lead to the cell differentiation of other cells. So this process is ongoing always. The next is apoptosis, that is the programmed cell death. If a cell is not needed, if a cell is old enough, it is not mature enough, so there is always apoptosis or the programmed cell death, that is the body will kill it and remove it. It happens by the release of procaspases, or not procaspases, actually the procaspase are the inactive form. These inactive form will convert into active form, that is the caspases. These are special protein cascades which starts for the process of apoptosis. Now they will disassemble all the cytoskeleton over there. Then there will be alteration of the cell surface. Then after this, a phagocytotic cell like a macrophages will come and attach to the cell membrane, and they will lead to the digestion of the cell. So apoptosis is a programmed cell death which happens by the protein cascades. These protein cascades are caspase, which is present in inactive form, that is procaspase. The difference between necrosis and apoptosis is, in necrosis it happens due to acute injury of the cell. That is, if there is injury from the outside, so the cell will die, just not because it was programmed to die, but it die because of another reason. So here the integrity will not be maintained. It means that when a cell is died due to the process of necrosis, all the cell contents will come out of it, and it can lead to inflammation or even injury to the cell. If apoptosis is not present in normal human functioning, it can lead to Alzheimer's disease, cancers, and autoimmune diseases. The next is cancer. The cancer happens because either due to mutation or there is abnormal activation of the cellular genes. Usually in normal genes also there is proto-oncogenes present. These proto-oncogenes are required for cell adhesion, cell growth, and cell division. But in cancers, these proto-oncogenes will form into oncogenes, and these oncogenes will lead to the formation of cancer. So here in normal human body also anti-oncogenes are also present. So here first of all, proto-oncogenes will lead to formation of oncogenes. Now to avoid them, to avoid having cancer in our body, there will be anti-oncogenes. If these anti-oncogenes are not present, then these oncogenes will be very high and can lead to cancer also. So there are several factors causing cancer. That is, first is ionizing rays. For example, we have X-rays, gamma rays, particle radiation, and even the UV light rays. The second is the chemical substances. For example, we have aniline, These are mostly present in cases of workers who are working in a chemical factory. Then these are also known as carcinogens in case of cigarettes, tobacco cigarettes, or cigarette smoking. The next will be physical irritants. For example, there could be some type of food which is causing abrasion of the intestinal lining, and further it will lead to the cancer. The food interesting fact itself would be the heredity from the gene. If your mother, father, or even anyone in your family has a history of cancer, then you might be susceptible to cancer. And the last is the oncovirus. For example, here we have human papilloma virus, HIV, hepatitis B and C, Kaposi's sarcoma associated with herpes virus, and Merkel cell polyoma virus. The cancer does not happen so easily. First, there should be a mutated cell, and even these mutated cells can die easily because they are mutated and the body should not accept it. The second reason is that even if they are able to cause cancer, there is normal feedback going on in them. So because of the normal feedback going on, they can die off easily. Then the third reason could be when they are potentially causing cancer, the immune system of the body will be activated, which will lead to the formation of antibodies or sensitized lymphocytes because they are able to produce abnormal proteins. And even, for example, only your stomach is able to digest, but to remove it, we need kidneys and other urinary bladder also. So, in case of cancer, also one cell cannot do everything. So, one of the cell will differentiate, and other cell will lead to the formation of blood vessels. If these are not simultaneously present, they will not lead to the cancer. So, the invasive characters are, first of all, there is no growth limit. Why it kills the person? Because of cancer, there are so many that it is because there is no growth limitation. It produces an abnormal protein. Then they will try to compete from the normal cells. So when they are inside a organ or anywhere, they will try to compete from from the exact nutrients which has to be gone to the cell which is growing normally, but not to but here in this case the cancer cells are taking everything. So there is competition going on. It is very competitive in nature. These are very less adhesive. That means they can wander around through the cell or even in the bloodstream. Hence, they can metastasize also. And like I said earlier, these have to make blood vessels also. So it is having an angiogenic factor, that is formation of new blood vessels. So that's all in this video.